The FBI is probably one of the most popular organizations in the world. The American Federal Bureau of Investigation has, over the years, become an inspiration for movies, songs, and a bunch of different conspiracy theories. This popularity is expected, especially considering the FBI's role in safeguarding Americans and the world. In case you were wondering, the FBI is an acronym that stands for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Most of the excitement surrounding the FBI is due to its most covert and mysterious operations. The entire world is hugely poised to find out what the FBI is up to next. While we all wait to see what happens next, here are a few things about the FBI that you probably didn't know. The founder of the FBI was related to Napoleon Bonaparte, and his name is Charles Joseph Bonaparte. Charles Bonaparte also served in leading roles in the Navy and as the U.S. Attorney General. Bonaparte happened to be the great-nephew of Napoleon Bonaparte. What a fantastic coincidence. As popular and notable as the FBI lab is now, it has not always been this big. While that might now seem as much of a shocker, most people have no idea just how small the agency started. The FBI began in what was formerly known as the FBI Laboratory. In 1932, the FBI laboratory consisted of a single room, which was also used as a smoke lounge. This laboratory was run by an available technician named Charles Appel. Most of the FBI's equipment during this time was borrowed and had to be returned and then borrowed again from time to time. The FBI has since grown from its humble beginning to owning state-of-the-art facilities and training campuses and employing over 500 scientists. Government agencies are always usually the subject of ridicule, especially over issues of incompetence. The FBI, however, has had great success at what they do. For an organization whose sole purpose is catching people who will do anything to avoid getting caught, the FBI has done a great job. Over the years of its existence, the FBI has put up more than 494 criminals on their most wanted list. The Bureau has been able to apprehend over 465 of these wanted individuals. These pretty impressive numbers are part of the reasons why the agency is so popular. Some of the names on the most wanted list are criminals who are also wanted in other countries. It's safe to say that the FBI has reached far beyond the United States of America and is doing a really good job at catching most wanted criminals. The FBI creates thousands of files on people of interest while doing their jobs. If for any reason your name pops up during an FBI investigation, a file may be created on you. This doesn't mean that you'll be arrested, it's just a standard protocol. Thanks to the Freedom of Information Act, you can request to see your file or the file of any notable person you may know. The FBI usually keeps tabs on famous celebrities, and this means that there is a high probability that your favorite star has a file in the FBI. If they do, then you can check it out. The FBI has a lot of fingerprints on file. One of the primary tools that the FBI has used to stay effective is fingerprinting. By running fingerprints gotten from crime scenes across a database, the FBI is able to identify all the parties involved in a crime swiftly. There is a high chance that the FBI has your fingerprints. If you have been fingerprinted for any purpose, including getting a driver's license or a background check for a job, the FBI probably stored your fingerprints in a database. The collection of fingerprints gathered by the FBI are stored in the Integrated Automated Fingerprint Identification System. A large percentage of the arrests that are made by the FBI has a lot to do with fingerprint identification. You'd expect that one of the world's leading security agencies will continue to be at the head of a digital revolution. The FBI, however, continued to file documents as hard copies until 2012. However, this is suspected to be more as a result of nostalgia than an inability to evolve. The delay in the change from analog to digital was also partially caused by a number of computer coding issues. These issues were eventually solved, allowing the agency to move its records and functions from analog to digital in 2012. It is important to note that the delay of the agency in the switch from analog to digital had nothing to do with the agency's technological prowess. Well, any organization has some embarrassing moments, but despite the great amounts of success that the agency has enjoyed over the years, the FBI has also had to deal with it. One of the most embarrassing operations that the FBI has been involved in was the Craig Monte case. Craig Monte, an FBI agent who was also a convicted forger, was given an undercover operation. Monte was supposed to infiltrate a local mosque to spy on the worshippers and possibly report any threatening behavior. However, Monte became impatient and began to initiate discussions regarding arms and terrorist activity. The local mosque members were spooked by Monte's conversations and eventually reported him to the FBI. The case eventually fell apart, and Monte sued the agency. This situation, as you can imagine, was too embarrassing for the FBI. It is not known that corruption is on every corner. The FBI is the #1 agency responsible for apprehending and investigating corruption in America. A certain level of integrity is expected. To a large extent, the FBI maintains this level of integrity and performs its tasks within the law's lines. However, the agency has not been fortunate to have a stellar record of directors who maintain this integrity standard. One director in particular, William Sessions, a former judge turned FBI director, was notorious for abusing his position as director. William Sessions was rumored to have used FBI resources to improve his personal residence and going on vacations and trips. While Sessions did this despite being aware of federal law and FBI ethics, despite Sessions' antics for being brought to light, he refused to retire, which eventually led him to being the first FBI director to be fired. One of the strategies that the FBI employs to prevent and apprehend criminals is to get informants. These informants provide crucial information on potential suspects, criminal behavior, and a range of other inside information. Over the years, the FBI has had many different informants. One of the most notable informants that the FBI had was Walt Disney. Yes, the Mickey Mouse creator was an informant for the FBI at some point. According to reports, Walt Disney supplied information to the FBI on actors and animators who were right-wing or communists. The FBI was interested in knowing any actors or animators who could possibly push the communist agenda through movies or animations. Walt Disney became an FBI informant from 1940 up until he died in 1966. Although most of the terms of the agreement between the FBI and Walt Disney are unknown, we know that Walt was allowed to pro-FBI episodes of Mickey Mouse at the FBI headquarters. It is, however, unclear why Walt had to film the episode at the headquarters. Other notable informants that the FBI had included Danny Green, one of Cleveland's most wanted criminals. Danny Green first worked with the FBI as an informant. He later got out of the gang business and became an FBI agent. Whitey Bulger was also a notable FBI informant. Having grown with an FBI agent named John Connolly, Whitey offered his services as an informant to the FBI. In exchange for the information he provided, Whitey was protected by Connolly and eventually grew to become one of the most powerful gangsters on the East Coast. Whitey was eventually hunted down by other law enforcement agencies and forced to go into hiding. Not all of the acts that the FBI has been involved in have been good. In some instances, FBI agents and leaders have abused their privilege for other purposes. One such time was the Bureau allowing 4 innocent men to be convicted for the murder of a certain Edward Deegan, who is a known criminal. Deegan had killed a Winter Hill gang member known as Vincent Fleming, who was also an FBI informant. The FBI was well aware of the fact that Deegan had committed this murder, but still proceeded to frame 4 other gang members for the crime, thereby protecting Deegan from prosecution. The 4 men who were framed by the FBI were sentenced to life imprisonment. Eventually, the entire cover-up was exposed, and the US government was forced to pay $100 million in damages to the affected members. Unfortunately, 2 of the men sentenced were already dead, and the other 2 had spent nearly 40 years incarcerated. The FBI should be in the state of law when it comes to truth, but according to the FBI, the Freedom of Information Act allows the FBI to lie or withhold information where it decides that telling the truth will not be in the best interests of national security. In several cases, the FBI can redact or refuse to testify in exceptional circumstances. However, this is an exceptionally touchy subject and has been contested in court because it seems to enable perjury. It is safe to say that the FBI has definitely withheld some relevant information from time to time. The FBI has files on some of the largest celebrities. One of the jobs of the FBI is to anticipate and prevent crime. If the FBI suspects that a person may be planning an attack, the agency usually begins surveillance on such a person. It might surprise you to find out that the FBI has kept files on many high-profile individuals to determine whether their actions were a threat to national security. Some notable names include George Carlin, who is mentioned on the FBI on account of his jokes about the government. The FBI also monitored Helen Keller because of her outspoken radicalism. Other notable individuals who are suspects of the FBI included John DeLorean, who designed the Back to the Future car. DeLorean was actually held in FBI custody until his innocence was proved by a publisher named Larry Flint. The FBI is an agency that has been responsible for the safety of America. So far, the FBI has done a partly good job keeping the United States safe. Thanks for watching. Leave the comment down below and do let us know what you think about this. Don't forget to subscribe for new and upcoming episodes.